The following day, the starship was alive with activity. Princess Lyra moved through the corridors with a curiosity that almost startled her own attendants. The human captain, Elias, had promised her more than words. He had promised examples, demonstrations of human endurance and adaptability. Lyra's violet eyes followed him as he walked confidently through the ship. To the princess, every movement was calm and measured. There was no hesitation, no unnecessary gestures, just focus and quiet strength. She felt both admiration and a growing intrigue. How could humans be so capable? And why did it feel so different from any other species she had met? Princess Elia said as he entered the training area, "Today we will begin with simple tests. Nothing invasive. You will see how humans handle physical challenges, mental stress, and cooperation. These are all part of our strength." Lyra nodded. "I am ready, Captain. I wish to see the truth with my own eyes." The first demonstration was endurance. Elias moved with ease through the training circuits, lifting heavy objects, running through obstacle courses, and completing tasks that tested coordination and stamina. The princess watched, noting every detail. Even when the tasks seemed exhausting, Elias showed no sign of giving up. His calm persistence amazed her. "This is only the beginning," he said, noticing her fascination. "Humans thrive because we train, adapt, and cooperate. Our strength is not just in the body. It is in the mind and spirit as well." Lyra frowned slightly. She had always thought endurance was physical alone. But Elias's words suggested something more. Something about humans' mental strength and adaptability that she had not expected. Next, Elias introduced a series of simulations. These were designed to test decision-making under pressure. Lights flashed, alarms sounded, and holographic obstacles appeared. The captain moved with precision, solving problems quickly and efficiently. Lyra's advisors whispered among themselves, impressed and confused. They had never seen a species so capable of handling both mental and physical challenges simultaneously. "You handle this well?" Lyra said finally, her voice curious rather than critical. "How do you remain calm with such pressure?" Elias smiled faintly. "We are trained for it, Princess. Humans adapt to danger because our survival often depends on it. Fear is normal, but we learn to manage it. That is part of our strength." The princess nodded slowly. She was beginning to understand. Humans were not just physically capable, they were mentally resilient. They could endure situations that would overwhelm other species. After the simulations, Elias proposed a cooperative challenge. He asked Lyra to join him in a navigation exercise. The goal was to guide a small shuttle through a complex asteroid field. The princess hesitated, unsure of her abilities. But Elias's calm presence reassured her. "Trust in your instincts, Princess," he said. "Humans rely on intuition and teamwork. This is part of how we survive." Together, they navigated the holographic field. Lyra's hands moved with increasing confidence as Elias guided her through small corrections and encouragement. They worked as a team, learning each other's patterns and anticipating movements. The exercise ended successfully, and Lyra realized something important. Humans excel not just alone, but in cooperation. Their strength multiplied when they worked together. She looked at Elias with a newfound respect. "You are remarkable, Captain Elias. Not just in what you can do alone, but in how you teach and guide others." "Even I can see it clearly," he shrugged, modest but proud. "That is human nature, Princess. We support each other, we adapt, and we endure. That is why we are capable of things that might seem impossible to others." Lyra's curiosity deepened. She wanted to see more. She asked him about the human lifestyle, about how they maintained endurance, and how they balanced work, life, and survival. Elias spoke patiently, explaining routines, training, diet, and mental exercises. He emphasized that humans thrived because they did not limit themselves, they explored. They challenged themselves, and they learned from experience. "The human body and mind are built for resilience," he said. "We recover quickly, adapt constantly, and face challenges without fear. That is why we can endure so much more than most species." The princess was silent, considering this. In her society, every action, every thought, every moment was calculated. Humans seemed free, and yet they were disciplined in their freedom. That paradox fascinated her. Later, Elias invited Lyra to observe the human crew during a long-duration task. They repaired ship systems, coordinated logistics, and managed stress under tight deadlines. Lyra watched as humans worked tirelessly, yet supported each other, encouraged each other, and laughed even under pressure. Their energy never seemed to fade, and their focus remained sharp. "I cannot believe this," Lyra whispered to herself. "Such stamina, such calm, such teamwork. These humans are unlike anything I have seen." Elias overheard her and smiled. "Humans are remarkable, Princess, but so are you and your people. Every species has strengths. Ours just happen to be different. Our endurance, adaptability, and honesty are part of what makes us." Lyra nodded, feeling both awe and respect. "I see it now," she said softly. "It is not just physical. It is mind, spirit, and the way humans support one another. You endure because you are complete." The day ended with a quiet moment on the observation deck. The twin suns of the alien planet dipped below the horizon, casting golden light across the ship. Lyra turned to Elias, her violet eyes reflecting a mixture of wonder and curiosity. "Captain Elias," she said, "you have shown me more than I expected, but I still have questions. How do humans maintain such strength over time? Is it something innate? Or something you learn?" Elias considered her carefully. "It is both, Princess. Humans are born with potential, but we cultivate it through training, experience, and cooperation. Our strength comes from knowing our limits and then surpassing them. That is why we can endure so much more than most species." The princess nodded slowly, absorbing every word. She realized that the human way of life, their resilience, their adaptability, and their honesty were all connected. These traits were not just physical, they were the essence of humanity itself. "Then you are extraordinary," Lyra said quietly, almost to herself. "Not just in what you do, but in who you are. And your people. They must be equally remarkable." Elias smiled. "They are, Princess. Every human has the potential for endurance, adaptability, and courage. That is why we survive, explore, and thrive in the galaxy. We face challenges not because we are fearless, but because we refuse to give up. That is what makes us strong." Lyra felt a sense of awe. She had not expected humans to be like this, not just strong, but disciplined, resilient, and capable of inspiring admiration in others. She realized that her fascination with Elias was only the beginning. She wanted to understand the human mind, the human spirit, and the way humans could achieve what seemed impossible to others. As the night deepened, she looked out at the stars, thinking about the journey ahead. Humans were more than stories or rumors, they were real. And their abilities challenged everything she thought she knew about life, endurance, and cooperation. And somewhere, in the calm confidence of Captain Elias, the real proof of humanity's strength continued quietly, without fanfare, without boast, and with a quiet certainty that only those who had seen it could understand. Lyra knew one thing for certain. This was only the beginning. Humans had shown her endurance, skill, and cooperation today. Tomorrow, she would learn more. And the more she learned, the more she realized that her understanding of the galaxy and of what was possible was about to change forever. The following morning, the starship floated quietly above the alien planet. Princess Lyra stood at the observation deck once again, her violet eyes tracing the patterns of the swirling clouds below. The lessons of the past 2 days weighed heavily on her mind. Humans were extraordinary, not only in strength and endurance, but in ways of thinking, cooperating, and enduring stress. Captain Elias approached, calm as always. He carried a small data pad and a warm smile. "Princess Lyra," he said, "today I will show you something different. Not tests or exercises, but how humans live, interact, and support one another. That is where our true strength lies." Lyra turned toward him, curiosity alight. I am ready, Captain. Show me what you mean. The first stop was the ship's communal area, where the human crew gathered for meals, conversation, and relaxation. Lyra observed quietly as humans spoke openly, shared tasks, and even helped one another with small problems. There was laughter, encouragement, and respect. Even in moments of fatigue, the humans maintained patience and support. It is different, Lyra said softly. Your people. They do not seem to tire in the same way other species do. You support each other, even under pressure. Elias nodded. Exactly, Princess. Humans understand that endurance is not just physical. It is emotional, social, and mental. We thrive because we cooperate, because we encourage one another, and because we do not give up even when situations seem impossible. Lyra's mind raced. She had seen the simulations, the training, and the obstacles. But now she was seeing humans in everyday life. Their strength was not just in grand displays, it was in how they lived, worked together, faced ordinary challenges with extraordinary resolve. Can such a society truly endure? She asked. Without strict cycles or limits? Elias smiled. Endurance comes from adaptability, Princess. We do not rely on limits. We create opportunities, face challenges, and learn from every experience. That is why humans survive and thrive in situations that other species cannot handle. Lyra felt a quiet admiration growing inside her. In her culture, control and limits were everything. Humans lived differently. They thrived because they dared to exceed limits. And yet they were disciplined and deliberate in how they did it. After observing the crew, Elias invited Lyra to the bridge of the starship. The controls glimmered with holographic displays, and the ship hummed with energy. Here, Princess. You will see humans making real-time decisions, balancing risk. And cooperating under pressure, he explained. Lyra watched as humans managed the ship's systems, coordinated navigation, and resolved problems that arose unexpectedly. Each crew member contributed, corrected mistakes, and encouraged others. Even minor errors were met with calm solutions, not blame. Lyra felt a deep respect for this approach. Humans were not flawless, but their ability to adapt and overcome challenges was astonishing. You handle uncertainty with grace, she said, her voice filled with awe. Your species. It is not just capable, it is remarkable. Elias shook his head, modest but confident. We are human, Princess. That is all. But humans have learned to survive, to adapt, and to endure. That is our strength, and it is why we can face challenges others cannot. The princess was silent, processing the depth of what she was witnessing. Humans were not like her people. They were freer, bolder, and more resilient. And yet, they were not reckless. They balanced courage with intelligence, endurance with patience. Later, Elias brought Lyra to a quiet observation deck overlooking the alien planet's surface. The twin suns were rising, casting golden light across the clouds and oceans. The princess felt a sense of calm and reflection settle over her. Captain Elias, she said softly, you have shown me much. Physical strength, endurance, intelligence, but more importantly, the spirit of your people. They inspire respect, not fear, Elias nodded. That is the human way, Princess. We survive, we endure, and we build trust. That is more important than physical power alone. Strength without purpose or cooperation is meaningless. Lyra's eyes lingered on him. She realized that her fascination with humans was more than curiosity, it was admiration. She respected their honesty, their adaptability, and their ability to inspire loyalty and trust. You have changed my perspective, she said. I believed humans were limited, creatures of chance and circumstance, but I see now. Your people are deliberate, resilient, and extraordinary. Leah smiled faintly. And you, Princess, have the wisdom to see it. That is why you ask the right questions. The princess thought for a moment, then spoke carefully. Captain, I am curious. Not only about your endurance, but about how humans build relationships. How do you maintain trust and cooperation among so many individuals? Elias considered her question. It begins with honesty, Princess. Humans are not perfect, but we value truth, loyalty, and respect. We communicate openly, support each other, and understand that survival depends on cooperation. That is how we endure, both as individuals and as a species. Lyra nodded slowly, absorbing every word. Her culture often valued hierarchy and control above all else. Humans were different. They thrived because they were honest, adaptable, and cooperative. It was a lesson she would never forget. The day passed with more demonstrations of human life training, cooperation exercises, and quiet observation of crew interactions. Lyra's admiration deepened. She saw a species that was strong, adaptable, and disciplined, yet free-spirited in ways her own people could not imagine. As evening approached, Lyra requested a private conversation with Elias. They stood together on the observation deck, the stars glittering beyond the ship's hull. "Captain Elias," she began, her voice sincere, "you have shown me strength, endurance, and resilience. But more than that, you have shown me the spirit of humanity. I respect it deeply, and I wish to understand more about you, about your people, and about how humans face life with such courage." Elias looked at her calmly. "Princess Lyra, humans endure not because we are fearless, but because we choose to face challenges. Our strength is not only in our bodies, it is in our minds, our hearts, and our determination. That is something any species can admire, if they are willing to see it." Lyra's gaze softened. "I am willing. I want to learn, Captain, and perhaps in time to build trust between our peoples. If humans are as capable as you have shown, then there is much we can achieve together." Lyra smiled faintly. "That is the human way, Princess. Cooperation, respect, and endurance. Together, we can face challenges that no species can handle alone." The princess felt a sense of hope and excitement. She realized that humans were more than stories or rumors. They were a living example of endurance, adaptability, and courage. And Captain Elias, with his calm confidence and quiet strength, was the perfect guide to understanding this remarkable species. As they stood together, the twin suns setting behind the alien horizon, Lyra whispered quietly to herself, almost in awe, "Humans, I understand now. They are extraordinary, and I wish to see all that they can achieve." Elias, sensing her quiet reflection, placed a reassuring hand on the railing. "Princess, this is only the beginning. There is much more to learn and much more to see. Humanity has endured and thrived for countless generations, and we will continue as long as there are those willing to adapt, cooperate, and persevere." Lyra nodded. In that moment, she understood the truth. Humans were extraordinary, not just in physical strength, but in spirit, mind, and heart. And the lessons she had learned from Captain Elias would shape her understanding of the galaxy of cooperation, and of the possibilities that awaited when different species worked together. The stars shimmered beyond the observation deck, reflecting in Lyra's thoughtful eyes. She knew that humans had changed her perspective forever, and as the night deepened, she felt a growing sense of respect, curiosity, and admiration emotions that would guide her decisions, her alliances, and her understanding of life across the galaxy. In the calm confidence of Captain Elias, and in the quiet brilliance of the human crew, Princess Lyra saw a future where humans were more than outsiders. They were partners, allies in a species that could inspire the galaxy with their resilience, honesty, and determination. And as the ship continued its silent journey above the alien planet, both human and alien looked toward the stars with a shared understanding, endurance. Adaptability and cooperation were the true strengths of humanity, and they were qualities that no empire could ignore. The stars above planet Vera shone like scattered diamonds in the black sky. The city beneath them glimmered with colors that humans had never seen before. Powers of crystal reflected the light, and vehicles floated silently along invisible paths. The air was filled with the hum of machines and the soft chatter of alien voices, in the heart of the city. The palace of the alien princess rose high above the surrounding buildings. Its walls were polished silver, shining even under the dim glow of Vera's twin moons. Inside, the princess paced slowly, her long, elegant fingers brushing over the smooth walls. Her mind was restless. She was curious about humans, creatures she had heard about only in stories and reports from her advisors. They were small, fragile-looking beings. Yet the stories spoke of incredible courage and intelligence. Her curiosity had grown for weeks. The humans had arrived on Vera under a flag of peace, sent by Earth as envoys. The princess had met many human leaders before, but this one was different. He did not rush. He did not speak too much. And there was a calm confidence in his eyes. Finally, she sat on her throne, her long hair falling over her shoulders like a silver waterfall. "Human," she said softly, "I have a question for you." The human envoy, standing politely before her, bowed slightly. "Yes, Your Highness," he said. His voice was steady, polite, but it carried a quiet strength. The princess smiled faintly. "I want to know, what makes humans truly different from other species in the galaxy? I hear stories, but I want to hear it from you." The human's eyes twinkled. He did not answer immediately. Instead, he looked around the throne room, noticing the way the light reflected off the walls, the intricate patterns carved into the floor, and the way the princess's advisors watched silently from the shadows. "Your Highness," he said finally, "humans are simple in some ways, but complicated in others. We can be fragile, yes, but we survive where many species fail. We create, we adapt, and we think in ways no one expects." The princess tilted her head, her curiosity growing. "Survive where others fail? What do you mean?" The human smiled. "Let me show you." Before she could respond, he gestured toward a large screen that descended from the ceiling. On it, images of Earth appeared. Vast deserts, frozen mountains, stormy oceans, and dense jungles filled the screen. Humans moved through them with tools, machines, and strategies that made survival look almost easy. "These are the worlds we call home," he said. "Some are harsh, some are dangerous, but humans have learned to live everywhere. We adapt to conditions that would kill most other species. We do not rely on strength alone. We use our minds, our cooperation, and our creativity." The princess leaned forward, her large eyes reflecting the images. I did not know humans could survive in so many environments," she admitted. Her advisors murmured among themselves. "Clearly, many of them had underestimated humans," the human continued, "and it is not just survival. We build, we explore. We learn from every failure and every challenge. What seems impossible to others often becomes routine for us." He tapped a few buttons on a device he held, and the screen shifted. Now she saw humans building massive machines, flying through storms, and repairing equipment in conditions that seemed impossible. Some humans were even shown on alien planets, solving problems and surviving environments far harsher than Vera's own. The princess gasped softly. These are humans?" she asked. "Yes, Your Highness," he replied calmly. "Humans do not give up easily. We do not wait for help. We act, and when others fail, we find a way." Her mind raced. She had assumed humans were fragile and unremarkable. She had thought that Earth was a minor world, far weaker than most planets she had visited. But now, she realized how wrong she had been. There was something in the human's calm confidence, something in the way he presented these facts without boasting, that made her see humans in a new light. "Show me more," she said, her curiosity now mixed with a spark of excitement. "I want to see the truth for myself." The human nodded. "Very well." He led her to a private chamber, one that the palace rarely opened to outsiders. It was smaller than the main throne room, but filled with advanced technology. Holograms floated in the air, displaying human cities' machines, and even simulations of human combat strategies. The princess walked slowly through the room, her eyes wide. "I never imagined such things. In such a small species," she whispered. The human smiled. "Humans are underestimated often, Your Highness. That is our advantage. While others doubt us, We prepare, we adapt, and we surprise them when the time comes. He paused at one hologram showing a human engineer repairing a massive machine on a distant planet. The machine shone in the dim light of a dying sun, sparks flying as it was restored to full function. "This engineer is working where no one else could survive," the human explained. "And yet, she succeeds. Humans do not let danger stop them. We learn from it." The princess watched in silence. She had seen brave species before, but the humans, they were different. Not just brave, not just strong, but clever in ways she could not fully understand yet. After a long pause, she asked, "And do humans fight as well as they build?" The human's eyes gleamed with quiet pride. "Yes, Your Highness. But we fight only when necessary, and we do so with strategy, creativity, and unity. We do not rely solely on strength or size. Our minds are our greatest weapons." "Ash!" She looked at him, trying to hide her amazement. "I asked a simple question," she said softly, "and yet, you have revealed so much. I did not expect this." The human bowed his head slightly. "Your curiosity deserves honesty, Your Highness. Humans are often underestimated, but that is because the galaxy sees only the surface. The truth is always deeper." The princess sat down on a bench, overwhelmed by what she had seen. Her advisors hovered nearby, exchanging worried glances. Some had doubted humans, but their princess's fascination was clear. She leaned forward, resting her elbows on her knees. "Take me to the place where humans really prove themselves," she said quietly. "I want to see more. I want to understand fully." The human nodded, understanding her meaning. "I will show you, Your Highness. But it is not just about seeing. You must witness the human spirit, the way we face impossible odds and find solutions no one expects." Her curiosity burned brighter than ever. She had expected stories and perhaps some minor achievements. Instead, she had discovered a species capable of ingenuity and resilience far beyond her imagination. And as she followed the human through the quiet halls of the palace, she realized something surprising. This simple question had started to change the way she saw the galaxy. If humans were like this, then perhaps the galaxy had underestimated Earth far too long. The journey had just begun. And the princess knew that what she would see next might change everything she thought she knew about humans and about herself.